Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream today. Brian Nadeau with you. Mike Welsh joining me again from the Racing Forum, and we appreciate the help on a very busy Saturday, not only here at Gulfstream Park with 12 races and 3 stakes, but of course our sister track, the second jewel of the Triple Crown, up at Pimlico in Maryland, is already getting going. They just ran their third race, I believe, so they've got a bonanza up there, stakes races, and of course culminating with the 148th Preakness. We start about 3 minutes early today, not the 12:50. We're going to go at 12:47 today with Pimlico going on up there. We're fast, we're firm, and we've got $75,000 in the gross jackpot. Rainbow Six, that starts in race 7 on the 12 race card. So, Mike, appreciate you stopping by again on a pretty exciting day, both here and up in Maryland.
Yeah, feels funny being here when the Triple Crown race is going on, but I've been doing it for forever. I just the Preakness is in between Derby and Belmont for me. Gives me a little break between the two those two assignments, and I'm happy enough to be here today. I'll watch it on TV and be at home when it's over. I don't have to fight any traffic afterwards.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing either, right? And a lot of excitement in Baltimore as Mage, who we saw up close and personal all winter long, goes for the second jewel of the Triple Crown.
Hard not to root for him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little worried that he's going to regress a little bit. They're making this 5th start in a relatively short period of time and coming off such a big jump numbers-wise and just everything, going a mile and a quarter, the whole deal coming back in 2 weeks. But, even if he regresses a little bit, he might just be that much better than these. He's going to need some help up front with the pace, obviously, with his running style. But, again, hard not to root for him just because of the connections and, for racing in itself. It's always great to have a Triple Crown on the line when we get to Belmont in 3 weeks. It's a lot of free publicity for the sport that they won't get otherwise.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more, so we'll see that a little bit later. About 7:01, I believe, Preakness goes off. But opener here is on a firm turf course. We'll take a quick look at my early pick 5 ticket. The pool should be pretty healthy here as well. 3 deep in the opener. In race number 2, it's the 6 and the 5 for me, Money Factor and Co-C. 4 deep in race 3. That's kind of the spread race for me with Tepper on top. We got a stat for Victor Barboza Jr. as well. In race number 4, I've got the 4 Mo Vanishing, and then here's your single Sturdy Gal at the end for a $36 early pick 5 ticket. We scratched the 11, a Tendy Mandatory in the opener, horse that I had on top, so I scratch into the 2 Chenti. I mean, we were talking in the office, Mike, the race goes through the 2 and the 5, Chenti and Akamar, but you don't have to like them either. I mean, I scratch in. We're talking now a combined 0 for 21.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought
Right.
in here. Obviously, I had Chanty originally on top. I said, why do you want to pick this horse?
Yeah.
He's logical, going to be a short price. He's been on the fringes a whole bunch of times at this level, but he does have some hang to him. So I just took a shot with the one-horse Casson. Can't beat the connection. Saffy Joseph, part of the reasons he has such a high winning percentage is he runs horses where they can win. And this was one that, the first out, he caught a monster field.
Yes.
I mean, 3 horses came out of that race to win their next starts. He showed speed for a half mile and then just gave it up. I don't know what happened. I mean, why he stopped so badly. But here he is now around 2 turns. He's moving to the turf. Maybe it's a desperation move. But there is a lot of pace in here, and he's probably a chance he's going to be part of it. But, again, at a price, I just thought I'd take a shot.
Yeah, and he was 37-1 on debut, too. So it wasn't like, they were expecting much. This is very, very early in the betting. We were talking. He's 12 on the morning line. He's supposed to be
a
about
little
half
less.
of that.
Yeah, maybe 6, 8. But you never know. We'll see how that plays out. Just a play against the favorites more than a play on this horse. Other than the fact that he's dropping and he comes out of a really good race.
Yeah, I tend to agree that it's, again, I scratch into these 2 horses, but they're a little tough to trust, and they'll be underlaid prices as well. We'll move on to race number 2 here. We're routing a mile and a 16th on the Tapeta, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. The tag is $10,000. We've got the replay of La Ruja and Co-C going at it. Not a lot happening in here, but they did both run very, very well. They get Co-C is going to win this one by a head and kind of guts it out a little bit. So we'll see. Can they double back up? La Ruja was 52-1 in this spot. I was a little more okay with Co-C running back as opposed to La Ruja, and that's why I faded her a little bit in here. But this is a pretty solid effort by both of these. They did get set up a little bit here, but they got it out to the line, and I think both of these horses are players in here. But LaRuja, to me, where did this race come from?
Yeah, and if you look way back on his form, this filly has a big race and then just completely bounced off
Yes.
it next time. So I threw her out. I just kind of went for a new face in the category. I'm figuring if a horse like LaRusa could run second in this race, maybe that race wasn't that good, although the figure was
Yes.
good, 73 for the winner. So I went with Radiant Gem. Last time, kind of ducked out at the break, got hung wide all the way around. But she's a new face to the category, dropping down for 10,000 for the first time.
Right.
Gets Miguel Vasquez has decided,
Yeah.
thought enough of her to take the call right back. And she might be a little bit of value in here. So it's kind of a default play for me. One thing with Casilla, she beat this same kind last time, but I'm not sure she's ever put 2 wins back-to-back on her form. So we'll see.
Yeah, she's another one that regresses a little bit. Now, I'm doing the same thing Mike did. I just went with Money Factor, who takes a drop in here. I look at the race 2 back. Pretty solid effort. I know it was on the turf, but I didn't think, there's that big of a difference in her figures. And again, a fresh new face in a race that maybe it's kind of what you're supposed to do and look for. So we'll take a little bit of a shot in there. We're on the firm turf course in race number 3. These are 3-year-olds or 4 and up, which have never won to. The tag is 12.5. We're going a mile on that firm turf course here. Money Map right back for you. I thought he ran pretty well last time. I was shocked, to be honest, that he was 3.9 to 1 that day too.
Yeah, I kind of was too. Look, this is a horse that's gotten better with each start from a buyer's standpoint. And again, I'm going to go back to what I said before about Safi. He runs horses where they could win, especially when the owner is Ken Ramsey. They're realistic with what their horses are worth, and they like to win races. So he's dropping him in for 12.5. I don't think it's a problem to take that kind of a drop. It's just where this horse belongs, and she is improving, or he is improving. So I've got him on top, and Tepper's my second pick. Stays put off the claim, back to the turf, has had some trouble. If you look at his trouble lines, bump, clipped heels, and still's run well in a couple of those races. So I think that he's definitely the horse to beat, but I like Money Matt.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the stat I found on Victor Barboza Jr. here. It's a pretty big one. Not a huge sample size, but he's 4 for 10 off the claim in turf routes here the past 5 years. And I thought Tepper was the one as well for a barn that's clicking, but certainly Money Map off that breakthrough win last time, lightly raced and upside. And let's just be honest, this is not the saltiest group to face. I don't know what you're going to get with the 2 who we haven't seen in a while, a barn switch. I mean, if he runs his race, he's probably going to win, but I kind of find it a little implausible. And now he's in for 12.5.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of that, but it's kind of a lot of red flags there.
A lot of them for sure. Race number 4, we are back on the Tapeta. We're routing here in this maiden special weight for 3-year-olds and up. We go a mile and 70 here, and we both land on Mo Vanishing, who got to the Tapeta last time and blew way up.
Yeah, I mean, a big improvement off the claim, moving to the Tapeta. I like that fact. If you watch the gallop out of the race, not only was he coming hard at the end, he was about 8 lengths in front of the field by the time they got to the clubhouse turn. So I thought that's a positive sign. He's a 4-year-old in a field against mostly 3-year-olds. Just a lot to like for him. So he's my top pick. And I like Memories Are Magic as well, too. Another older horse in here, kind of freshened up since his last. But that last race he came out of, totally overmatched in there. There was the second horse came back and won. The third horse came back and won. And they won maiden special weight races at Keeneland and Belmont. So it shows you what he was in against. He's going to be forwardly placed throughout, may ultimately prove the one to catch, but I like Mo Vanishing if there's any help up front in a clean trip.
Yeah, when you're beating over 11 lengths and you're on a 66 bar, you know the race was very fast. I thought the 3 Twirling Express could wake up a little bit, stretching out, getting another turn for Pletcher. The Pete is a question mark, but he should be a little tighter. They didn't bet him last time, which is a little worrisome too, but we'll see what we get there. On the Tapeta, sprinting in race 5, middle pick 4, the ever popular one, the middle pick 4 here on a 12-race Saturday card, and we're sprinting 5.5 on the Tapeta. Fillies and mares 3 and up or never won 2. Your tag 12.5, and you go with the number 2 Temerity, who's got to be a square number in here.
Yeah, off of the scratch. My original pick was Light and Path.
Yeah.
I just wanted a new face to this category. So Temerity was my second pick again. A 4-year-old with the younger horses. Last time broke slow, was still last at the top of the stretch, finished okay, and another horse that galloped out really well after the race, gets an extra half a furlong to work with. You go back to the 2 races before that, second best with the same kind. So Again, this is a trip race, and
Yep.
we'll just see how things play out.
Yeah, the 9 is out. Light and Path takes a little bit of the speed out of the equation. I went down in the inside. This was my single to end the early pick 5. Sturdy girl for me, excuse me. The class drop has got to play here after running for 35.
Yeah, I mean, she is a 3-year-old who did run against older horses
Yeah.
last time. Now coming back with 3-year-olds, dropping down. Maybe a bit of a red flag there too, but this outfit, they can win too. So I couldn't disagree with you at all in there.
And this is a pretty weak race here, and she's dropping out of a much better field. I don't think we're getting 8 on her. She's probably going to be about half of that. But again, it's a race where you could hit the all ball for that matter. And I think I'm trying to single, maybe get a little clever in here and get some value that way, because I don't think we're going to get as much of it on the tote board. One more before the break here. We're sprinting 5 on the Tapeta in race 6. This is a 12-5 maiden claimer. We're going to scratch the 4 interesting gem, and we've got the exact reverse. Hustle Queen. I don't know what you're going to get from her. We haven't seen her in a while. I don't think you're going to get 9-2 though.
No, I agree 100%. Last time she ran, now that was a year ago.
Yeah.
She was 6-5 in a maiden 12-5, so that's what she's back in for today. But she's worked well over the Tapeta. Now she moves to the Tapeta for the first time. But I like the fact when I see them in the morning and they handle in the morning, well, usually transfers to them to handling them in the afternoon. I think she's the best horse in here. Like to see her just sprint right out of there. I'm not a big fan of speed on the inside on the Tapeta, but she just might be too fast for these if she gets away and get clear. Corazon, logical, again, showed improvement last time, big improvement from a buyer standpoint. Probably the one to beat.
Yeah, I think so, and she's moving forward. Rohan, the trainer of the 1, Hustle Queen, he's also 5 for 11 off this elongated kind of layoff. So I would think, she's not in for the tag. He takes that waiver claim, I guess. But I would think she's ready to roll in here. Now, interesting gem was 6 on the morning line, so we lose 14 points. So she's going to get hit down from that anyway. But I would think they're going to bet her. I'll tell you what, Mike, if she is anywhere around 4-1 or so, I'd be a little leery of her, because that would be dead on the board to me.
And the fact he takes the waiver claim gives you even more confidence that he didn't put her in for the 12-5. He doesn't want to lose her. Obviously, she's doing well. And I think he's figuring he can build off of this. Let her win her maiden today, and then see what she shows up for next time with a tag. What number?
I agree totally. So 6 down, 6 to go. When we come back, it's rainbow time. $75,000 in the gross jackpot guarantee. Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Brian and Mike with you. Beautiful Saturday here in Hollandale Beach. Come on out and play the races both here and at Pimlico. We're going to basically take you all the way to the Preakness today. I think our last race is about 6:35 on the 12 race card. We've got 3 stakes. We're going to get to really good races, and it kicks off in race 7, the Rainbow 6. As I mentioned, $75,000 in the gross jackpot guarantee. Here's a $25.60 ticket for me, basically spreading early and very condensed late in race number 8. The top pick is the 8. Delta Rising for Ralph Nix. In race number 9, we go all the way to the outside. Basking is a horse. Well, not all the way to the outside. Choose Joy, unfortunately for her, once again is to the outside. I think Basking's got a world of talent from Lisa Lewis in race number 10. I'm gonna use both Dean Delivers and Starship Renegade. We'll get into that race a little bit, Mike and I. I do think Starship Renegade's going to have to answer the bell, though. This is a whole different test today for him. Back-to-back singles, a proverb. I just think he's better than my best bet of the day. I think you're gonna have to probably.
A lot of weight in that horse.
Yeah, Harry's time is going to be hit pretty hard in there, and he's probably going to be half of that 6-1. So I want to try to get some value that
Exactly.
way at the end because I don't think you're getting anywhere near it on the tote board. Let's kick it off. This is a kind of a tricky sequence. Fortunately for me, I can single at the end with a couple strong opinions. Otherwise, there might be a lot of spreads in here. We kick it off here, Mike. Same pick on top. Swashbuckle, it's just, to me, we're on the turf here. We're routing a mile and a 16th in this $30,000 starter allowance. It's right there in front of you. He's as loose as can be.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was loose last time, but that was Tapeta. And like I said, the Tapeta just doesn't carry speed as well as his turf course does. Now, I get it. He's never won around 2 turns yet, but he's been close a couple of times. He was second to Alley Oop Johnny 2 starts back. Alley Oop Johnny came out of that race and won the same race again. Fly the W, who's been in great form all meet, was third. So that race alone, I think if he can get loose and repeat that race, he's going to stand some catching in here. Grape Nuts Warrior, logical, back on the turf. He runs back to that race 2 back as well. He's going to be right there at the end, too, but they're going to have to catch Swashbuckle.
Well, right. And Grape Nuts Warrior, the 6, and Empire Attraction, the 7, they're essentially the same horse. Neither of them have any speed. And when you're picking a horse that's going to be loose and controlling, that's a big problem for those two. So, I think Swashbuckle's in if it's not today, it might not be because he's in a really, really good spot. Late pick 5 time in race number 8. This is a $16,000 maiden claimer. We go 6 furlongs on a fast main track here. We got a stat on Delta Rising for Ralph Nix because, well, I'm not going to show the ticket, guys. It's a replay of the rainbow, and I can tweet it out there. But here's the stat. And you can see the stats in the form are big for Ralph as is, but this kind of funnels it down a little bit, and he's 3 for 5 off this kind of layoff dirt sprints over the past year. So I would think Delta Rising is ready to roll in here. 8 on the morning line. We do scratch the 10 and the 11. The 13 is going to draw in and is going to play in here and probably is a big player, but I'll get to that one in a second. But Delta Rising, Lasix, and Gelding maybe wakes up here for a barn that really, really has them ready to roll. You talk about the 13 because I know you wanted to adjust this now that he draws in.
Yeah, I mean, I originally handicapped the race. I just assumed he wasn't going to run,
Right.
and Delta Rising was my top pick for many reasons. First time gelding, first time Lasix, big drop route. There's a lot of drop downs in here that you got to kind of sort through. Todd has one, Delta Rising, Dream Knight also. So, like I said, Delta Rising was original pick. But now that Dream Knight's in, again, it's Safi running a horse where he thinks can win. I'm not concerned about that kind of layoff. He's been working pretty steady. That last work was pretty strong. I mean, 46-3. It's right there on the paper for you. From an outside post, he should get a perfect stalking trip out there. But I make the race Delta Rising and Dream Knight, those two.
My worry was, I mean, Ticking's a nice horse, and he's probably going to win stakes races in the state bred ranks. Dream Knight didn't run an inch that day. The 13. He just didn't run.
Yeah, I don't know what happened that day. He wasn't, close to the pace.
Yeah.
I mean, coming off the 2-turn race, and then he went to the sideline. So who knows what happened? I'm just going by what I've seen lately.
Right.
I also threw in the 2 Tahoda. Horse has been working well. He's going to be a big price. My only biggest concern, besides the fact that he's dealing with, this isn't your normal maiden 16.
Sure.
You got some drop downs in here that could be worth way more than that. He's a 3-year-old going up against older horses, but I'm going to throw him in for a piece in here just off some promise he's shown me in the morning.
Yeah, and, it's not a huge sample, but Carlos Perez is 2 for 6 with first-time starters, so there could be a little bit of intent here. So I mentioned the 3 stakes we've got. The first one is in the 9th. It's the Hollywood Lakes, this overnight $60,000 handicap, 5 furlongs on the turf. We've got the replay of Choose Joy, Fulminate, and Talkin' Tipsy. They ran 2, 3, 4 last time. You talk about it because I know you had some interest in Talkin' Tipsy.
Yeah, that's 3 horse there. Did not break well. Now watch in here. This did not make his trouble line in the chart. Chantel had a steady here, and it's going to kind of keep steadying this horse a little bit down there in the inside into the turn here. So did not help the cause. And now she's going to tip out. Talking Tipsy is going to tip out pretty wide into the stretch. So wasn't the cleanest of trips for this horse. Wound up getting beat 2 lengths, but only a length by Choose Joy and a neck by Fulminate. I thought this was a pretty good effort for a horse that's obviously on the improve. She's going to have to move up a little bit more from a buyer standpoint, but gets Edgar Perez, who's riding well. So I think with all the pace in here, there's a lot of speed. if she can get a clean run and make that kick from off the pace, I think she's worth a look at 8, 10 to 1, whatever
Yeah,
she's going to
and
be.
she checked at a pivotal time there too. When you want to be moving at that point in a turf sprint, and she wasn't able to do it. I like Basking in here. Give me 8 to 1 on Basking, and give me 6 to 1 on Basking, and I'll be okay with that. I think she's got a world of talent. I love the job Lisa Lewis does. Needed to come back last time. It was a means to an end at Tampa. She ran fine. Obviously, I feel Lisa had pointed to this spot all along.
First time turf, though, doesn't concern you?
No, I mean she's run well on the Tapeta. It's not the same. I get it, but I'm okay with that. And I just feel like this is a spot she had in mind all along.
Yeah, and one identity too. I'm not sure quite what to do with this horse, but she runs her best race. She's going to be right there. The thing is, she's one of all these other speed horses in here, so I think she could get caught in some kind of a pace duel. That's why I look to Talking Tipsy for a big price.
And where's she been? One identity.
Yeah, that too. But she worked well. If you look at the May 7th Tapeta work, it was a pretty good move.
Good race for sure. The Big Drama is a good race as well. And it's Dean Delivers against Starship Renegade. I'm not going to call it a match race, but they're clearly the two in here. Let's just show how good Dean Delivers was last time, getting headed out by Wayburn real quick here. This was on Curlin, Florida Derby Day. He did get a good run. Okay, I'm not going to dispute that. But look who's in here. We've got Octane, Collaborate, My Prankster, and certainly Wayburn on the outside, the big horse, the 4-horse. He's going to loop them all. But this was a really, really good effort by Dean Delivers. You look at the company he's been keeping, and it's just so much better than this group in here. Mike Yates has done a good job with him as well. He's going to come through on the inside. Wayburn's going to gut it out eventually on the outside with those Chiefs Woods colors. But this was a strong effort, Mike, on a horse that just he simply answers the bell every time for Mike Yates.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's a horse to beat off of the company he has kept. He hasn't won a race for a while, dating back to last August here in an allowance race, and he also won a state-bred allowance race. But he's certainly the one to beat. I like Starship Renegade, though. This horse has never been better. Took him a while to come around, but he's certainly at the top of his game right now and should be able to sit a good stalking trip. Probably can't lead Gangley out either. I mean, he ran within a half length of Starship Renegade, then come back and run off the screen against Cheaper in his next start. I'm going to throw one horse in here, not saying he's going to win, but he's going to be a huge price, and maybe he can grab a little piece. Is Stormy Pattern. This horse, if you look at his record, he's 7 runs here at Gulfstream Park, 3 wins, 3 seconds. Maybe he just didn't like, well, I shouldn't say he didn't like Oakland. He won an A other than there. Came back. Look at that last work, 59-2. It was all of that. It was a pretty good move on a day where the track was on the dull side. I'm going to throw him in maybe for second and third. I don't know if he can beat Dean Delivers or Starship Renegade, but I think he's going to give a good account of himself if he can get a clean run from the rail, which is always problematic, especially coming out of that 7-furlong chute.
Yeah, the chute. Definitely the acid test for Starship Renegade, but he's done everything Steve's asked of him, and he's done it impressively, too. So we'll see what we get today in the Big Drama. It's exciting. We're a mile on the main track and a starter optional claimer in race number 11, 4 and up. I kind of just think, Mike, all right, you went a different way. I thought just Proverb was too much horse for these, but American Prince is going to be a number. Talk about him.
Yeah, I mean, I can't quibble with you picking Proverb. He's definitely the one to beat. Comes off of victories, obviously in good form. The mile, not a problem for him. He's won it a mile before, so lots to like about him. I just took a shot with American Prince dropping down. Looks like he's going to get loose in this race. And the main track speed is fine. So
yeah,
just a shot at a little bit of a price in what I thought was a fairly wide open race. I'm not conceding anything to Proverb, but he's certainly the one to beat on paper.
Yeah, I like speed in these one-turn mile races, too, because the field a lot of times get gapped out by the far turn, and you're not going to make up significant ground. 7 should be close enough. We can show you, we'll show the replay later. It's not a lot going on when Proverb beat Hercules, but here we go. Certainly 2 of the ones in here. Proverb is the 1, Hercules is the 5 in here. A little traffic down inside, but once he sifts through and gets through it, I thought he ran well, and they were both aided by the pace of the race in here, and it fell apart a little bit. The horses that were 1, 2, 3 at the end were 5, 6, 8 early on, so you can tell the flow of the race helped him. But certainly he's never been better. He's been such good form for Safi off the claim here, just kind of keeping on. He's not in for a tag. We don't have to worry about that. I think what the replay to me kind of shows is that he's a better horse than Hercules, and think the mile might help him a little just as much as anybody else in here too.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing about American Prince, too, you go back 3 starts back, he got that 88 buyer going a mile. He beat Giant Game, who's way
Whoa, yeah.
better than this field. In fact, Giant Game broke my heart that day because I played him.
Yeah.
I left at the gate, came on, got beat, ran second at like 10-1, and he's since gone on.
And he won at
and
Churchill.
He ran third, I think, last time at Churchill against 2 killers.
Yeah.
2 killers. So I just think if American Prince can run back to that race, especially if he gets loose, he could be tough in here.
We'll save the best for the last. Literally, both Mike and I's best bet of the day is in the Roar. 5 furlongs on the turf for 3-year-olds here. We scratched a 6 Graham Bay, and I don't know where he's going to pop up. Hopefully one of these days he will. There's so much speed in this race, and Harry Time on the cutback is, to me, heck to pay in here.
Yeah, I mean, unless he gets shuffled way back early, this horse, just without looking at his running lines or who he's run with, just on paper, is supposed to come running late and pick up all the speed with a clean trip. Then you go back 2 starts, and look who he ran second to, Far Bridge. Far Bridge would be 1 to 1,000 in this race. He just came off a second-place finish in the American Derby, got beat like an inch. On Kentucky Derby Day. Granted, now this is 5/8 of a mile, but I think 5/8 should be perfect for this horse. So to me, Harry Time, I don't know what price he is on the morning line. I'm going to guess he's going to be closer to 2 to 1 or 5 to 2 because the fact that he ran with Far Bridge is not going to be lost on a lot of players.
Right, and you got to remember this or pull it up. Safi did the same thing with Axthelm earlier. I think it was in the championship meet. He'd been routing on turf, cut him back, and he absolutely inhaled the field. To me, it's going to play out the exact same way because there's so much speed. Something's got to give down inside when you got a horse like Dr. Ogeron, Extendo trying the turf. They're going to be flying early. And we've got the other horse, I think, Portofino with the outside draw, who's got a hint of a rating gear. So we're seeing it exactly the same.
And it's not only the rating. Look who he ran second. He got beat a half length by Big and Classy. Big and Classy's a 4-year-old who's won 4 races in a row. So now this horse is back with 3-year-olds. Should get a stalking trip. I like these two. Dr. Ogeron on form, obviously runs back to that either of his last several races, but he's down inside. He's going to get pushed from both sides, I think, on the lead. So I think he could be a little vulnerable. So, again, Harry Time and Portofino it is for me, too, in the finale.
Yeah, just mows them all down in the stretch, hopefully. So 12 of them here at Gulfstream, and this post 634. So like I said, we'll take you right up to the Preakness. We'll get to the lightning round now, and it's very Preakness-oriented up at our sister track in Maryland, the Pimlico, the Preakness 148, second leg of the Triple Crown, and certainly everybody down here in South Florida is rooting. Doesn't mean you have to bet them, but they're rooting for Mage.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's a tough horse not to root for. The connections alone is a great story. They've just done a wonderful job with this horse. And again, like I said, for racing itself, to have a Triple Crown on the line in a few weeks would be terrific. My only concern is, and again, it's from a betting standpoint, from a pari-mutuel standpoint, I can't take 4 to 5 on this horse in here. Not that the 2 horses that have a chance to beat him, Baffert and Chad Brown, are probably as good as this horse.
Right.
But he's just done so much in a short time. His last race was such a big jump and such a hard effort off his previous race, and now he's back in 2 weeks again. I can't see him, doing anything but regressing a little bit. He might regress a little bit and still be just too good, and he's going to beat these horses. But if I had to play the race, and I don't and I won't, I would have to take one of the 2 kind of second and third choices and maybe put them on top and try to hope that scenario comes out that Mage just doesn't quite run back to his last effort. For me, I'm going to sit back. I'm going to watch. I'm going to enjoy the race. I'm going to root for Mage and hope that when I'm in Belmont in 3 weeks, we're going to be going for a Triple Crown.
Ditto. My sentiments exactly. I won't be in Belmont, but I'll be rooting for him as well. National Treasure looks loose in there. If Mage doesn't break again, that could be problematic. We got a great promo going on here, too. You bet these races at Pimlico. If your horse runs second or third, you get up to $10 money back, so that's pretty cool as well. We talked yesterday about the wagering guide. That is out there, the Express Bet first wagering guide with all sorts of picks and little goodies in there. You can get that online. It's free. Check it out. Jeremy Plonk and the team do a great job putting that together. So check that out again. It's free on the website. My best bet today, Mike and my best bet, we'll lump them together, is Harry's Time in race number 12. You guys, we're going to give you some Preakness money, we hope, to fire away. And my long shot is Basking in the turf race.
And
race
mine is in
10.
the same race.
Oh, what do you got?
Talking Tipsy.
All right. Oh, Talking Tipsy. Right. We just showed you the trip there. That's a fun race. It's a fun card here. A lot to look forward to. We're going to post a little bit early today, 3 minutes early. So just take note of that for your early pick 5 and all that kind of good stuff. Pete will guide you through the card. We're happy to
One
have you
last
aboard.
word. I want to say
Go.
one more thing. Go Panthers.
There you go.